Hello, everyone, and welcome to Game 3 of Losers Finals for this Hollow Knight Lockout Bingo Randomizer tournament. I'm Quacksilver, joined on the mic by Jason ILTG.
Hello.
Happy Thanksgiving to our American friends in the chat. We're going to have a very quick and brutal seed, it seems like. We've got a lot of random obtain goals, but not a lot of annoying single item ones. A lot of charm goals on the board this time to serve as a change of pace from the previous two games in this series.
Who knows? Maybe it'll be locked at 11-11 again with Soul Eater, Soul Catcher, Glowing Womb, Weaver Song, Grub Song, and Grubber Flies all behind Shop Key at White Palace.
Yeah, you shouldn't speak too soon. There could always be a whole lot of content waiting for us in this seed. Yeah, both of these runners, not just seasoned at the game, but also seasoned at playing each other. I think this might be the first Game 3 we've seen in our best of 3 sets so far this tournament.
Yeah, I think so. I think the other best of 3s, not that there have been that many so far, have all gone 2-0.
So right away, noticing off the board that we've got False Knight Brooding Moloch as your pivotal early goal. Mostly this tournament, we've seen runners kind of donate that early and assume that the other player is going to do it. And in a couple of cases, it's led to both runners putting it off for a few minutes, but Gundham is skipping Fury of the Fallen, so is going to rush this goal, hoping to not see progression at Fury on Mike's screen then.
Yeah. Besides that, there's some goals that could be early, like Elder Who could be early with Fungal Access plus Dream Nail. Kill a Light Seed. If you get a Dreamer, you can do it in Crossroads. There's a couple goals in Cliffs, if you get Stag Nest or Claw, or even Wings. But certainly the earliest will be False Knight Brooding Moloch.
Yeah, thankfully for Gundham, just a Pale Ore at Fury. Also, it looked like Spell Twister at a Zelda, but nothing of the myriad goals.
Yeah, there was an Arcane Egg as well, which might be useful later for spend 5k Geo, but that's some pretty long-term. That's a pretty long-term goal. Especially with only 300 Geo to start, you don't really want to spend like about 150 of it on an Arcane Egg at this point. Or it's even more expensive.
Yeah, could potentially be dangerous.
Actually, never mind. That was Thorns of Agony. I am blind.
It's worth noting, Gundham, while did skip Fury, is also taking the incidental time loss to go to False Knight first of the two. It is technically faster just because it's on your way to do Moloch first, but a lot of people like putting off Moloch for second, even when rushing the goal, because you have 3 checks, or at least 2 checks at False Knight to hopefully get some sort of damage buff for Moloch, because doing Moloch with just Nail is a little annoying, even though neither of these runners should have too much trouble with it.
Yeah, this also is perhaps makes even more sense on a board with as many random goals as this one, because you might want to get to all of the checks behind False Knight first, because those might be random goals compared to the only 1 check behind Moloch. So like, for instance, that ordering
Gathering Swarm right there. It's our first random goal on the board. We'll see if that's board delay or hiding on Gundam's part. I imagine it's just a little bit of board delay on our end, but also Kingsbrand at Dirtmouth Stag. That is some very kind progression.
Yeah, I probably Mike will heavily suspect that Gundham has skipped Fury here, with how much he was beat to that Gathering Swarm.
Alright, yeah, so we are going to get the confirmation that it is just board delay. Gundham going to Shops first. Interesting play here. So it seems to be working as a bait against Mike. Gundham making the level 2 or level 3 play of knowing, okay, Mike knows I'm ahead of him because I marked Gathering Swarm, so now I don't even have to do False Knight Moloch. I can get ahead of him to Shops too, and it is absolutely paying off.
Yeah, this is a pretty clever play from Gundam. Also, like, Shops isn't even... Shops is actually pretty likely to have another one of these random goals. So it'll be really big if Gundam beats Mike both to... the Gathering Swarm that was at Crossroads Stag, plus Shops, plus even maybe False Knight Moloch after that. Would be a really good way to leverage that Fury skip earlier.
Yeah, and Gundam very slyly ending up on 1 HP just in the setting up for the Shade skip, so going to have a very fast set of movement to Salubra here. Oh, that I'm always so afraid of that. Where Mike died, I always bait the guy a little bit farther over because I'm so terrified of getting the Shade to spawn wrong.
Yeah, if you're like any bit to the right of that doorway, it should work.
Oh, and some money at Salubro bodes well for anything else left in Shops.
Yeah. We'll see if there's anything. They are playing on medium, so Salubra was in logic, though.
So we have Brand and King Station Stag as two of our first available checks.
King Station Stag is also a goal on the board.
So yeah, Mike gonna be kinda kicking himself maybe as two of our first random goals fall down both in favor of Gundam.
Yeah, I really like the decision from Gundam there to go Shops instead of rushing False Knight Moloch, especially after seeing the Gathering Swarm at Crossroads Stag.
And also getting the warp out just in time to even have a lead on this False Knight Moloch race. So assuming Gundam's execution holds up on the boss fights, could go out to a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, though he is stopping for that grub, so I guess they both are. So Gundam's a bit ahead, but it will probably just come down to whoever's better at execution for Moloch, or possibly whether one or both of them skip the mound check.
Yeah. So yeah, Gundam about half a False Knight cycle ahead. This could be very dangerous.
Also on lower HP, and that does kind of matter because when you're going fast, you do damage tank 4 times against False Knight. Alright, here there's a way to damage tank less, but I have no idea how to pull that off.
Yeah, the quick cycle against False Knight is rather precise, and we're not seeing either runner going for it. But yeah, there's a difference of about 1 heal between them, so Mike's gonna make back a little bit of the time. But Gundam still gets any of these random checks first, and probably gets the False Knight Moloch goal first, assuming he holds up for Moloch. And that's another random goal. By seconds. You hate to see it.
This is going very well for Gundam here. The decision to not check Fury continuing to pay off.
And Gundam is going to go ahead and check Mound while Mike is going to rush Moloch. I like it. Worst case scenario, there's another random goal here, but this would be the first random goal that just sort of unfairly sits in Gundam's lap. Gundam has played extremely well to take advantage of this early game. And to sort of manipulate Mike's movement. But now Mike, favored, unless he takes a death to Moloch or otherwise has bad execution, is going to be able to get himself on the board here.
So right now, in terms of progression, we're mostly just looking at making use of that King Station Stag. There could be like a Wraiths or 2 White Fragments somewhere to put Abyss into play as well, but for now, our runners can't do anything there.
All right, so yeah, Mike has enough of a time lead on the Moloch fight that this will probably, I don't want to say anything too definitively, be his goal. So we're going to come out of Crossroads with 4 goals marked already, which is a bit of a rarity.
I mean, that's what happens on these boards with a large amount of random goals sometimes. You tend to get like some of them early, some of them in the mid game, some of them late, and with so many, there's bound to be a few early.
Okay, Mike flirting with death for a second there, but is going to get through Moloch. And if you're Gundam at this point, you probably finished the fight. You've already invested this much time in it.
Yeah.
But for the first time in a little bit, Mike in the driver's seat in terms of novel checks. It looks like he is going to take that time to go back and check Mound, though. So Gundam with a leg up in terms of King's Station and beyond. I am betting on the Locust Seed. I have faith. It's been a while since we've seen King's Brand actually show up this early. It would be a shame if it were a bait this time.
My guess is that there's going to be, let's say, a white fragment at 4 grubs, and another white fragment at Lemeg.
I would like that very much. I suppose we also have not actually seen Grub, so 1 Grub Wraiths would make my heart sing.
I mean, it could be as much as 4 by this point, I think, because there's 5 grubs and Crossroads available on medium, plus at least 1 in King Station.
I believe only 1 logical, because the logic does not account for a grub that you could get through the floor. We got a very expensive VS. Elegant key, not something we need on this board, I believe. And a pretty expensive dive as well. So that dive does lend itself to at least 1 goal in the 420 rock, and 13 grubs is a lot more feasible to worry about than 20 grubs for VS. But
yeah,
it's hard to do that math now.
Yeah, so Gundam will almost certainly be finding something here. I think it might be their last location. Oh, I guess neither runner has checked Go Mask Shard yet.
Yeah, Go Mask Shard and Lemeg are, I'm pretty sure, the 2 last things we get to see here.
Yeah, I think that's correct. It looks like Mike's going for Go Mask Shard. Probably knows he's already behind on getting over to Left City.
As Gundam having a little bit of stream problems, we're going to switch audio back to Mike for the time being. He is locally recording, so we will have proof of anything as the race goes on, but it is just Fluke Nest, not even a goal on this board, so Mike is forced down into the King's Station path, unless I am missing something. Gonna also grab some more money, start thinking about this 5k Geo in advance.
Papa nada.
Also grabbing extra charms. Still don't have a spell to make Spell Twister worth it, but not going to stop him from equipping it early.
Yeah, I mean, Spell Twister is a very useful charm once you get any spell. So that does put Mike at very low Geo that he's going to be able to sell to Lem for a bit more. Very curious where Gundam is right now.
I want to believe
Lem
in
is.
Abyss. I believe. A simple man. I see Kingsbrand at Dirtmouth Stag. And,
I think probably one of the more painful things that Gundam could get in terms of like having to walk a lot is a simple key, because checking all of waterways with nothing is extremely slow. Oh, apparently Gundam's stream is live and he found Race, according to chat.
perfect. Thank you, chat. Alright, so Gundam running for Abyss. The Locust seed is confirmed. You love to see it. And Mike is going to find that momentarily. Picking up an incidental charm notch on the way.
Oh, Gundam's stream is back. Presumably Wraiths was at Lemmic.
I mean, there are no other checks it could actually...
I mean, it could have been like, I don't know, DV Stag or something, I don't know.
That's fair, that's fair. But I think based on how relatively far Gundam has made it down towards Abyss, I think that's the one. Not even checking Fountain. You hate to see it. So, yep, Mike is going to get up here and hopefully confirm for us the presence of Wraiths as Gundam enters the Abyss in just a second here.
So what do you think we'll find out of this streak?
Oh, a simple key would be hilarious, but I feel like at this point they've earned vertical of some kind. Probably wings, because that swings the board a little bit less than Claw does, but if it is Claw, that's still too funny.
I like Simple Key.
Simple key would be great. As Mike working through the hilarity of this seed with some hops. Alright, moment of truth coming up from Gundam here. We will see what the seed deigns to offer.
You know what would also be hilarious? Like Rubberfly's elegy. All this effort to get into Green Path.
It is dash, so that's going to immediately move towards Fungal, it looks like, for Gundam. I'm scanning the board here. Nothing that immediately... Green Path Fungal Grubs is something you can start on.
Yeah. You can pass by Elder Who, but you can't really fight Elder Who without Dream Nail. Yeah, there's really not much you can do on the board right now.
It's Mike getting bullied a little bit by the flying husks here. Alright, Compass is thankfully a goal that has already been ticked off, so Gundam can't extend his lead further with shops.
Yeah, but Gundam is going to be getting kind of far ahead here with his lead on the progression in Abyss.
Yeah, and Mike is going to check Fountain, reveal that it is vanilla or vanilla-esque.
Oh, Falcon brings up a good point in chat. Base Impel Ore is in logic on medium with dash, I believe. That damage boost.
It is.
So it is possible that our next progression is simply at Base Impel Ore, and that it probably won't be checked for quite some time.
Alright, so Mike gonna finally get his dash, and there is the distant village stag, as Gundam gets bullied a little bit by Sporgs. Um,
Yeah, unfortunately for Mike, there like really isn't anywhere to go besides Fungal, so he will be following Gundam here.
I mean, if he really was invested in diverging... Oh, there's our first nail art. 1 of 2. If Mike was really invested in diverging, he could go up into resting grounds. That gets more bearable, as well as tram pass, jeez.
I mean,
that gets more bearable once you've got dash. But
it's
still
it's
not
also not
fun.
in logic, so I kind of doubt Mike would do it, but... I mean, Doveless, Green Path was in logic as soon as you got dash, because you can just go through Fungal, but the problem is, like, you have to go through Fungal. And so that's already following Gundam.
But it looks like Mike is committed to the follow.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's really not much else Mike can do, and he doesn't necessarily know he's following Gundam, but like this is really the only path that like both of them could take, so it's pretty hard not to be following.
Yeah, all right, and Mike is working on that spending goal here as Gundam finds Dash Master. Just keep being one leg ahead and going fast.
Yeah.
So Gundam is the one continuing up into Green Path. Meanwhile, it looks like Mike is going back towards City. Just gonna focus on this selling thing, so voluntarily putting himself farther behind in checks, but hoping to mitigate his goal bleeding a little bit here.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like this though. It's only one goal, spend 5k Geo, and Mike really can't do anything else here.
Yeah, especially with if the board were more static, I think I would like this play from Mike, but there's just so much that you still have yet to find.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, for instance, a convenient Isma's tier that gets you into Queen's Gardens.
Yeah, like the thing about this board with so many random checks is that or with so many random goals is that random checks will get you will have some probability of having progression, but will also have some probability of having just random goals as well.
And 49-47 spent from Mike. That's so unfortunate. Just barely not enough to mark the goal. That's gotta be super disheartening.
There has to be some way to spend 50 Geo, right?
You can spend 1 here to get Yod Tuner, but
there's how much Crossroads Corner costs 30, right?
yeah, he could conceivably buy Crossroads Cornifer and Crossroads Stag, because I don't think he actually got that. But like, that's a little ugly. A little ugly to be in that position in the first place. Is continuing the fungal green path circuit here a little bit. We'll see. Meanwhile, Gundam going to, oh yeah, knockout check love key as well. That Isma's, in a rare twist of fate, not only do we get the Locust Seed with an early Kingsbrand, but we get Isma's actually kind of being worth its weight in gold, being 2 goals in quick succession here. Assuming Gundam does not... Why do I open my mouth?
Rip.
You hate to see it. So,
Yeah.
all right, that's the first really big break for Mike of the seed. Gundam has sort of tossed him around a bunch, but now is his chance to come back.
Yeah, and Gundam dying there is also rough because not only is he leaving behind Check Love Key, well, I assume he's going to go back for that, but also he probably wants to continue past Love Key to get that fungal grub, because if you go through Queen's Gardens that way, you don't need vertical to complete Green Path fungal grubs. It's the only way to do that goal without vertical, really.
Yeah, so thankfully, and he's getting comboed. Queen's Garden's bullying Gundam a little bit. You hate to see it. Yeah, thankfully it gets a little bit easier on the second attempt. You don't have to redo that Petra arena with very limited resources, which any percent runner will tell you is not the best thing.
Yeah, but
Especially any percent current patch runner.
With only raids, honestly, the Love Key arena itself is probably more annoying. Though you can also kind of cheese it by sitting in the acid.
All right, so Mike now caught up with Dashmaster, probably a moment away from Isma's here, although Gundam is going to have marked off all of the relevant early goals with Isma's. Alright. Second time is going to get it. That's Check Love Key for Gundam, as well as the City Crest, which
City
is hysterical.
I mean, unironically, you can actually use City Crest here to get into storerooms with Dash Slash, but I don't know if we're gonna see that just yet.
It would be not logical, but I always love any routing that takes advantage of City Crest. Yeah, also a bit of a weird shade spawn location for Gundam. Decided to not hang with the mantises. But as Gundam moves up into Green Path. Oh, and there's another Ismus.
Lol.
That's incredible. All right, Mike's like, well, I know exactly what happened now.
Okay, Gundam couldn't check Spore Stream. You need some form of vertical for that. There's like some walls there's like one wall you can't jump across without vertical, I believe. But yeah, so Mike will be getting some these checks here ahead of Gundam. Gundam is probably looking to complete that Green Path Fungal Grubs goal now, and so we'll be following Mike around. But if those checks are all just useless dupes, like that dupe Isma's, that's not gonna be great for Mike.
Yeah, Mark of Pride, kinda nice to have, but not anything immediate. Also, Gundam, with the position of a 3-goal lead, has a little bit more flexibility to go for this grub rescue. Or it is smart for Mike to just ignore that and keep pushing on for checks.
Yeah. Also, yes, to answer chat, I am currently using my phone microphone and watching the Twitch stream on my iPad because my computer is currently in repairs.
Every time Mike manages to get that that Fool Eater check without taking damage, it's mystifying. And we have ourselves a good old-fashioned Dearest Homothety with Green Path Stag at Green Path Stag.
Very useful. You can now get to Green Path. Meanwhile, it looks like Gundam is headed towards Storeroom? Or I guess maybe just right with Fungal. But like, I guess that would make more sense than going to Storms, perhaps, with Dash Slash and City Crest.
And Ike is headed out to Kingdom's Edge. Not a whole lot here you can do without vertical, or without dive.
Probably looking to hit the Oro Scarecrow. With Ismas, you can actually greet Hopper Pogo after getting past this acid pool. It's like
So,
kind of cursed, and definitely not in logic. I believe it's in hard, but it is doable.
Well, it looks like Mike is going to go for it here. You do have one form of air stall with the Wraiths, and he's up. He's past the first one, although it's not a situation you want to be in. Okay, I passed the Aspid at least.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to die here.
But thankfully, not yet. So, okay, that is going to be another goal for Mike, and maybe a little bit of fear in Gundam. That's, like we said, it's a goal that can be done with items that Gundam has, but it's a goal that's much easier with vertical. So it could lead Gundam to ask some questions about where Mike's been.
This also is good progress for Mike for the 420 Georock goal, getting this bench here, and it might disincentivize Gundam from coming here as well later. I think if you're a Gundam though, if Mike doesn't like mark one of the Cliff's goals really soon, you can probably assume that Mike just did the Great Hopper Pogo, because those Cliff's goals are pretty easy with either form of vertical.
That is fair. There's enough stuff on the board that would hard signal that you found Claw, that you don't need to worry about the soft signals.
Of course, the next step for Mike is to find Stagnest Stag here behind Massive Blast Charger, and mark both of the Cliff's goals and make Gundam think that Mike has wings, perhaps. Though I guess they would be marked in... no, they would be marked in a sense of order.
Alright, so both runners still traipsing around Green Path. It looks like Mike is spending some time thinking about the grubs. Alright, Distant Village right now. We have seen Lantern, but without Vertical, that doesn't get you a whole bunch. Although Mike is just going back for Tram Pass, right? Our first look at resting grounds, presumably. It is certainly much easier to get there with the tram pass than by trying to pogo your way up into the station. Gundam, meanwhile, just chilling with Hornet. I don't believe we saw this from Mike, so this will be a good bit of divergence for a little bit now that we're done running around through Green Path together. It's just a journal, so resting grounds looking kind of nice right now.
Yeah, other than that, there's not too much you can do now that Green Path and Fungal have both been kind of cleared.
We have not seen Mantis Claw or Dashmaster, if I'm not mistaken. So the Vanilla Claw Dream is not yet dead, but
yeah.
I also we've seen enough areas even without vertical, I feel like we're just a couple of items or even stags away from that dive maybe being in logic.
Okay, let's count. So there's
Let's see.
5 in Crossroads, 4 in Green Path, 2 in Fungal, 1 in Deep Nest. So that's 12 because you can get the Mimic Grub from QG. Then there's 2 in there's a 2 in King Station because one of them you can use dash to like get in a roundabout way. So that's 14. And I believe
Trampath gets you the Nosk grub. Does
No,
it
it
get you any
doesn't.
grubs in Hive?
It doesn't
Oh,
get
no,
you the
you
Nosk
need
grub.
wings. You need wings or Sea Dash for Nosk grub. Ignore me.
Yeah.
Does it get you anything in the Hive though?
It does not get you anything in Hive. Dive was at 13 grubs, so they would just need 1 more grub from what we've been saying. Like a simple key would do it, certainly. A C dash would also do it, but
So our
would be over by 1.
There's our simple key. So Waterways grub would do it.
Yep. Could be 13 grubs for dive.
Which is a dangerous thing to have to think about when you've got 4 grubs. Looks like so far, and a lot of areas to comb through. It helps that dive is necessary for a goal here.
Yeah. Also, Falcon, it is true that you can get the grub through the floor with City Crest and Dash Slash, but that is not in logic for, I guess one reason, because I think the pogo to get that grub without going through the floor is on medium, but lever skips are not in logic, so that would not work.
Alright, so now that we're pretty solidly out of the early game, Mike has found the correct line of progression and rewarded with a Shade Cloak here, so that puts 1 extra check in logic, but it's also nice to have.
Yeah, you can get Sharp Shadow with that, with Trampass.
And it looks like Mike is immediately heading down towards and also the Shade Skip, you need at least 1 form of vertical for Shade Skips in the Abyss to mean anything, right? Or can you get like Shade Cloak right now?
I think you can. Huh.
So Shade Cloak is one of those things that sort of.
I think that was taken out of logic. Because you get locked out of that Shade Skip if you pick up Void Heart.
Yeah, the Shade behavior with Void Heart, I know, has been messed with a couple of times. And yes, Shade Cloak was at the damage boost relic. Oh, and a Mantis Claw Essence. So a Dream Nail, kind of nice, as well as another dive at less than 300.
Oh yeah.
That's
we completely missed that when Mike checked it.
Looking pretty nice.
I wonder.
So the question now becomes, where's our Dream Nail?
Waterways, Bench Egg. Or maybe Crypts. Let's go with Crypts. Mike showing off the Mark of Pride skip over here.
Shades of Homothety in the play here. Mike also getting bullied by Mollix.
Non-brooding Mollix.
Yeah. Alright, Soul Eater is an alright thing to pick up. Yeah, that's a goal. Gundham, meanwhile, taking advantage of the lantern to get to No Eyes' reward here. Mike never actually did pick up lantern, so.
Where was it? That was like QG, right? QG Ag?
Yes, I believe so. So even with vertical, assuming we find a quick Dream Nail here, Mike's visit to Deep Nest is going to be much more fraught. But obviously without vertical, you just grab that Hot Springs bench and move around.
So we're currently at 6-4.
Yes,
There
Mike
isn't
did marks.
anything obvious for either of them to do in terms of goals. It looks like Gundam is heading down towards waterways now, while Mike gets this sharp shadow check. Either of these is pretty likely to be progression, honestly.
And there's your Mantis Claw.
Nice.
Who needs Essence? Alright, so anyway, that's your Cliff's goal. That's also defeat Soul Master, although that takes a little bit longer.
It's also talk to Massmaker.
Yeah, I was about to say, those are the Soul Master and Cliffs are the easy ones. You could also talk to Massmaker, or with Dash Master Claw, check Glowing Loom, although those are a little bit more involved.
There's also a Crystal Crawler journal entry.
Mike doesn't have Lantern yet, but yes, that is also on the table.
And Kahlo Hot Spring, which would also be good as progress towards 4 Hot Springs. So suddenly, Mike is like pretty far in the lead now.
Yeah.
If Gundam knows there's a Claw Essence, but it might take quite a while for him to find that Claw.
Especially if Dream Nails remain kind of buried. This swung pretty hard into Mike's favor. So in retrospect, Mike's decision to like just get goals on the board in the early game, even trading out that check percentage, like making sure he had False Knight Moloch down, going for spend 5k even with a lot of random obtains, while the seed was unkind to him right at the beginning of the game, and Gundam played smart in skipping Fury and sort of baiting Mike around, ended up working out okay for Mike in the end.
Yep.
Alright, Gundam is going to pick up Shade Cloak, though. We will see if he thinks about Sharp Shadow.
Yeah, Sharp Shadow is a pretty out-of-the-way check. So it's unclear whether Gundam will think about that.
We did get the King's Station Warp. We'll see where Gundam goes from there. It's like the grubs play from Gundam. Gundam already sitting pretty at 11 grubs, it looks like, so this could be dive.
Yeah.
He's thinking about.
And Sharp Shadow Claw could have been the dupe. We never know. Looks like Mike is just going around doing some quick claw checks. Surprised he isn't going for like Kahlo Hot Spring or something like that yet.
It looks like the rough direction he's headed in. Grabbed the Kingdom's Entrance the Kingdom's Entrance entrance journal on the way. Some nice chill checks. And so this is going to be Gundam's 13th grub here real quick. And so Gundam will be able to dive.
Yeah, so that dive opens up crypts, obviously. Other than that, there's not too much Gundam can do with it. I guess getting the Peaks dive entrance check and going towards Flukmark. There could be Dream Nail at Flukmark, you never know.
Wouldn't put it past this seed. When you have a King's Brand opener, anything is possible. As Gundam freezes a little bit mid-dash.
Pretty neat skin show off.
Yeah, enjoy Ghost Knight for a second. We'll focus on Mike, who is probably going to get Kahlo Hot Spring here. That would be his third Hot Spring, if I'm not mistaken. Just needs one more simple key for Pleasure House to get that goal as well.
Yeah, so this will be 6-6 pretty soon, and Mike has like about 3 more static goals that he can do with Claw. So definitely not. The race is definitely not over yet. But if Gundam takes a long time to find this Claw, you better hope that the dive will provide enough advantage to make up for that.
We'll also get these colos actually checked out. With just Wraiths, I imagine Mike won't continue to pay a Lurker. That
Maybe
seems unlikely. Wings in Colo 2. You love to see it. Nothing here that demands wings, although if Stag Nest Stag is buried, they'd be nice to have.
I mean, you can always do the Gorb Pogo once you find Dreamnail, right?
You could do the Galaxy Brain Gorb Pogo, but Claw is going to be sufficient for most of this board unless some of the random obtains are in a couple of the explicitly wings-locked places. There are not too many of them, and Gundam did get dive and clear through crypts as his stream comes back up for us. Just relics, crypts not stacked in the non-vertical part. But this is also going to be the first check of any percent journal, right? I think that's the one piece of this that we've missed from like the King's Station side of things. Could also do the Gauntlet, although it looks like he is going to skip it for the time being.
Yeah, that makes sense. With dive and Wraiths, it's not too bad.
Oh, but there is our Dream Nail. That's Elder Who right away, and that's a Claw eventually for...
How much was it again?
It was 182. So 0 Who
Okay.
will make that doable. Also, speaking of, with Elder Who on the board, Gundam has to know that Mike found a different Claw, because there is no way that he would have the Dream Nail Claw and not have defeated Elder Who.
Yeah. Also, Gundam knows that Mike does not have Stag Nest Stag as his way into Cliffs, because then the Stag Nest Vessel Fragment would definitely be marked.
Yeah, that's sort of a hard goal to not mark if that's your path in.
Yeah, and it's also pretty unlikely for Mike to have found Wings by the same reasoning, because it's pretty easy to pogo up to Stag Nest with Wings.
Relative to pogoing up to Cliffs, the pogo to Stag Nest is much, much easier.
Yeah. So I assume here we're gonna get Soul Master and Elder Who done, and then after that, Gundam will be well on his way to getting his Claw.
So there is Elder Who from Gundam. Definitely does not have the time to contest Soul Master, lead Claw, but more than likely, unless there is a vanilla dive waiting for us here, I'm assuming Gundam is going to be the one to mark Crystal Crawler journal entry, having both of the ways into peaks, while Mike currently has none.
Yeah. Gundam could also go for the 420 Geo-Rock to try to snipe that goal from Mike before Mike gets dive. But Mike is pretty far from dive right now. Well, we'll see what Gundam decides to do.
So yeah, I think a vanilla dive would be certainly the spiciest thing we could see. White Fragment not too bad, given that we've already been in the Abyss. It would be the third dive we've seen, because there was also one hiding at Essence.
According to chat, there was also a there was also a Dreamer at low Essence, so kill a Light Seed is also something Gundam could do.
Oh yeah, Monomon was at pretty reasonable essence. That is definitely faster than either of the other goals. But it's going to pick up his claw, so now we are neck and neck. Can't quite afford to Standing Dark. Also mono on with the 200. So kill a Light Seed into either 420 Rock or Crystal Crawler journal entry before Mike will have the opportunity to even react. If you're Mike, you're really hoping for Vanilla Dive.
Yeah.
Or a goal. A goal is not too bad.
Yep.
So Grubberfly's Elegy going to keep Mike very much in this.
So this
see
will
what else.
be something like 8 to 9 in favor of Gundam. Once Gundam gets this Light Seed and Crystal Crawler journal entry, I assume.
Gundam is also going for check Glowing Womb. Alright, so Gundam not taking any prisoners here. Going to try and choke Mike out of all of the goals he could have available to him right now. Gets a very clean Dashmaster Spike Tunnel on the second attempt. That's some smart heads-up play from Gundam there. Mike, no fear whatsoever, running into Dark Deep Nest.
Maybe going for that reverse Mask Maker Dark Room?
That would be a whole nother level. Let's see.
That would be
Oh,
pretty
and there's a
impressive.
double goal right back for Gundam with check Glowing Womb and obtain Weaver Song.
Yep.
That's really dangerous. That puts Gundam within spitting distance of the finish line.
Lots of double goals this seed so far.
And that's extra unfortunate because the check Glowing Womb was something that Mike could do, just Dashmaster Claw, as opposed to some of these other dive-locked goals.
Yeah.
It looks like this might be a race for Mask Maker. I assume that's the direction that Gundam is going in, as Mike unfortunately taking a death there.
I don't know. This isn't really the best way to Mask Maker. I guess this is going through QG through Sports Room? I guess that works.
Because he can get back through there now. Yeah. So Mike, after taking the death in Nest there, wants to get out. Gonna check that dive count. Yeah, gonna be disappointed in seeing that. Picks up the Elegant Key. See if he's pinning his hopes on that.
Yeah, so it looks like Gundam will be getting this Talk to Mask Maker goal pretty soon here. Meanwhile, Mike looks like he's checking storerooms, and maybe he's looking to farm grubs for that dive as well.
It's hard to say. At this point, you gotta kind of make better calls than your opponent. Gundam does have a long but static path to victory. Even if one of the goals...
sorry, go ahead.
Even if one of the goals that Mike, or that Gundam is looking at right now gets sniped, like if Mike gets dive and gets either Crystal Crawler or 420 Rock, Gundam can just do Colo 2 to get wings for Stagnus Vessel Fragment.
Yeah, the Gundam doesn't know that currently.
Oh, that's fair.
Gundam also doesn't really have a reason to go up to Colo.
Mike just barely squeaking by on the Geo there after losing his shade. Gundam running out to Kingdom's Edge.
So this would be Gundam's 12th goal, 420 Geo Rock. So Mike really has to find dive pretty quickly here to beat Gundam to this, or else be in a very precarious position of having an opponent with 12 goals.
Dupe wings is a nice way to be, though. Now that also means that a Crystal Heart would also do it for Mike. Let him get into Sea Peaks and take that goal away. But he's got to go fast.
Yeah, Gundam... Yeah, I think if Mike finds, like, Crystal Heart and goes immediately to Sea Peaks, or, like, dive, and I don't even know if he can catch up to Gundam here to the 420 Geo Rock anymore.
I will be so sad if this is a C-Dash. Okay. If it was a C-Dash that he couldn't afford because he died, that would be so unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, so Mike will be, despite being able to get this Stagnus Vessel Fragment goal, there isn't much way that Mike can stop Gundam from getting these two goals here, 420 Geo Rock and Crystal Crawler journal entry. That dive is very much paying off for Gundam.
Yep, whenever it's always those insidious scrub goals. C-Dash was at the end of this race. Yep, Gundam with just moments to spare. And just a rancid egg at Hera.
Chat predicting that C-Dash will be at Oro, as it was skipped by both runners.
Hidden station stag in a cute enough location.
Lol. Yeah, this was a pretty quick seed. And all of the random goals pretty much were found by the end.
Oh, a vengeful spirit, how nice. Yeah, no, the random goals broke pretty evenly for runners, and I think this was a pretty good lesson in how to work with a random board, and to sort of take advantage of what you know your opponent should be doing, while also just checking as efficiently as possible to try and snag those random goals. Plus, we got, our healthy serving of BS luck in terms of a couple double goals.
Yeah, but one double goal for either runner, so at least it was balanced out.
And that is going to be GG for Gundam. Yeah, let's get both of the runners in here. I think this was an excellent note to end this set on. We will see the
GG's.
The bot was having a couple problems earlier, so we will hope that these invites do get sent. In the meantime, I will pull up the spoiler log. Let's see what else we needed to worry about. Okay, let's get our runners some invites.
Okay.
Yeah.
GG. Oh.
GG. Like you knew after the boss rush of game 1 of this set that it had to come down to a random slugfest at the end.
Yeah. GG Gundham.
So looking at the spoiler log, right away, so we saw 2 of the dives, with one at Essence, one at Grubbs. The third dive was at Tram Pass.
Right.
You had also missed Lantern because you probably weren't going there. It was at the QG Rancid Egg. So Gundam actually had pretty much all of the ways into peaks at the end there.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I need to get to dive first, but I knew it wasn't happening as soon as he marked LQ. Really.
Yeah.
Lessons.
And our Crystal Hearts this seed, one was in Birthplace, at the Arcane Egg in Birthplace, no less. So I think that was accessible to you, in theory.
In theory.
And the second one was at Grimchild.
If I'd found Lantern, no, not Lantern, Dreamnail, maybe.
Dreamnail at the Any Percent Journal was the only one we saw this whole seed.
Yeah, I didn't check it.
Okay. Seems like I got the mic working.
Yes.
Gundam,
GG.
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 Yeah, that was great. There was so the Dreamgate, the expected Dreamgate was at Conga Line. So even if Gundam did not finish with Crystal Crawler journal entry, that was close to being settled there. There was another Dreamnail.
I guess the only
Crypt.
questions are where are the other Dreamnails, crypts?
And the dupe Dreamnail at Voidheart.
So right side of crypts was the
Actually
last thing.
accessible. So 2 goals. Wow. So where are the other simple keys?
All right, so
Simple key. Oh, for Hot Springs.
So we found the one at Dreamnail. There was one behind Mantis Lords. There was one at QG Stag with the corresponding stag at Monomon. And there was one at Quick Slash, which Gundam actually passed by in the final goal rush.
Oh, what was that Oro? Both of you passed by that.
Oh, that was Quick Slash. I just checked it in the end.
Well,
Yeah, quick Slash at Oro. So not too bad. And then we're looking for Nail Arts.
Yeah, the other 2.
So we found Dash Slash. Great Slash was at Howling Wraiths, and Cyclone Slash at King's Idol Deep Nest.
Pretty cursed.
Yeah, it was
this
good.
would be a race if it went to the last goals.
No, there was a surprising amount of depth on this board for as many random goals in your face right at the start of them. Good seed board combo.
Yep.
yeah.
I assume I was the first one to vertical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were by a bit.
Where was your vertical?
Sharp Shadow.
Oh, I figured there would be something when I found Shade Cloak, but I was just like, let's farm dive. There has to be something behind dive.
I mean, yeah, how about 2 goals and ultimately a whole ton of other stuff that we didn't even see?
Yes.
No, but that early gameplay in particular, I just want to highlight the skipping Fury and then going shops anyway, not rushing Moloch, was a really, really solid set of decisions right at the beginning. That was a good lead right out of the gate.
Was there nothing at Fury?
Yeah, it was
Ilor.
Okay. I'm glad. I think that this was the only time that I decided to skip Fury in a tournament.
I'm pretty sure it's the first time in the history of this entire tournament that skipping Fury has just unironically worked out with no reservations.
I guess.
Not true, but okay.
I mean, I think this was this is certainly one of the more impactful theory skips
Yes.
that we've seen.
Yeah,
Usually,
this
like,
got quite hard.
yeah, if someone skips Fury, usually like it doesn't do that much, but this board it really helped.
Just the 3 quick goals gives so much peace of mind, and I got even ahead on the progression chain that was really content.
Yeah, shoutouts to Locus, who's probably celebrating. Well, no, maybe not celebrating Thanksgiving now, but if you're around, we got this seed for you.
Yeah.
Really amazing.
Yeah, and also the double goal break for both of you in succession was a lot of good fun.
Oh, right, you found Grabberfly Soldier, I didn't even notice. That was in Sanctum.
Elegy at Soulmaster, and unfortunately Weaver Song at Glowing Womb.
Yeah, it was
By
French
that much.
vanilla. But I mean, we got already spoiled by the Green Path stack at Green Path stack, so we got our dearest Demothity.
We got our dearest Demothity, yeah, and I was just checking in the vessel fragment at the Stagnus vessel fragment was not in fact the correct one, but alas, next time.
RIP. You hate to see that.
Yeah. So that is game 3 in favor of Gundam. So that's 2-1. So Mike going home with 3rd. And for our finals match, for grand finals of the lower bracket, we're going to get Gundam versus Aiden. 2 runners who not only joined the tournament at the halfway point after the conclusion of the Swiss rounds, but also I'm pretty sure 2 runners that not a lot of people had on their predictions way back when. So best of luck, Gundam, in grand finals.
I will definitely need it. Aiden is just a monster, so I will need it.
Good luck.
Thanks.
And GG's to Mike. Obviously, a hefty favorite by a lot of people. No slouch in his own right. 3rd is a good note to end on. We are not quite done for the weekend. For those of you that are either able to extricate yourself from Thanksgiving or not celebrating it, there is another match later tonight. We're getting some of the upper bracket stuff. Jetfire versus is that versus Locus, I believe?
Yep, Jet first.
Correct in that? So that is this evening at 7 Eastern, as well as tomorrow at 7 Eastern. Also tomorrow at around 8 Eastern, there is going to be a double anti-bingo streamed for Bingo-thon Winter 2020. That's going to be on the Speedruns Live Twitch channel instead of the SpeedGaming. But if you're a fan of Hollow Knight races, there is plenty more content for you this weekend. I think that's about it. Anything else from either of the runners or Jason?
Have a happy Turkey Day, everyone, and stay safe.
Enjoy.
Awesome.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.